Hello everybody. This is video number 2, although in between my first one and this one I had a whole hell of a lot more to say, and which is going to come after this video. I just kind of wanted to get this out the way. Well, let me not say that because that sounds insensitive, but I just wanted to address this issue. Similar to my last video, which was about Trayvon Martin and the verdict that was handed down. This one is geared more towards the fact that it seems to be open season on niggas out here. It seems to be an overall general consensus that all African Americans are a threat to white Americans. If you don't know what I'm speaking about the 19-year-old female that was shot and killed as she knocked on the door for help. Her name is Renisha McBride. This happened in Dearborn, Michigan. I really wish that I didn't even have to talk about this. And I'm sure some people will be like, well, you don't have to talk about it, but I do. Because it seems to me that more often than not, these situations are happening and it's just okay. You know, nobody feels the need to say anything about it, or better yet, let me get this and clear this up, okay? Just like everybody rallied about the Trayvon Martin, situation or what have you, maybe this one hasn't gained the steam as far as support that it needs because it's fairly new. The story just broke. You know how we do. Black folks like to follow wherever the hype goes. You know, if it's hyped up, then you're all about it. But if nobody's hearing anything about it, then not so much. Well, this needs to be heard about because, all too often during the Trayvon Martin case, we heard, he was a thug, he was this, he was that, he deserved it. Did this young lady deserve to get shot in her face? As the police said, they said that she was shot in her face, around her mouth, with a 12-gauge shotgun. And then there's other people saying that she was shot in the back of the head, which is questionable in and of itself. Why do you feel the need, if someone is knocking on it, now granted 3:40 in the morning is the time frame that I read, why would you feel the need to go to your door with a shotgun pointed? Because I'm pretty sure you looked out the window, okay, and you saw that this was a young lady. I'm pretty sure that she was yelling for help or she was asking for help, okay? But you said that it was an accident. However, you went to the door, obviously, with your shotgun pointed. If it was an accident, you had your shotgun pointed to her face and it accidentally went off. 12-gauge shotgun, so basically you damn near blew her face off. Whether it was in front or in back, you killed her. The police have not released his name, have not released the photo, such as they would in most other cases involving a murder or a death. Okay, let's go there. Let's say a death. Okay, but in most cases, if you have a suspect that is wanted, if you have somebody that you think, whether it's a husband that you think murdered the wife or vice versa, you're going to release the name, you're going to release the photo or what have you. At least the name. They haven't even done that. I mean, it's a non-factor for them. It really pisses me off when people want to say all the time, it's not about race, it's not about race. No, you know what's going on? It's not about race because you don't want it to be about race. See, you want these injustices to keep occurring and for it to just be fanned away as if, oh, you were acting this way or you were acting that way, so that is why it happened. It had nothing to do with you being an African American. It had nothing to do with you being a black person. Really? This case is very, very similar to the young man that knocked on someone's door after an accident, asked for help. The lady said she thought that he was going to break in. She called the police. The police pursued him, no questions asked, shot him and killed him. So basically what you're saying is that as an African American, if I'm in an accident, I'm better off laying there and waiting for someone to come and see about me than I am to leave the scene of the accident and look for help. Because if I take too long to get to the destination where I'm looking for help, then you're going to question what I was doing in between that time. Damn, I was in an accident. Maybe it took me a little bit of time to get to where I was. Maybe I was a little hurt. Maybe I was a little gimpy. But you're questioning this young lady's whereabouts in between the time that she left the scene of the accident and went looking for help. So now you're back to placing the doubt or the blame on the victim, so to speak, such as you did in the case of Trayvon Martin, such as you all tried to do in the case of the young man that got killed by the police when he knocked on the door looking for help. There's a pattern here. If you don't see the pattern, then you don't want to see the pattern, period. I'm not saying that every situation involving a black person is racially motivated. I am by no means saying that. But when the writing is on the wall and when it's very, very obvious, come on. Come on. I ask that anybody, mostly white people, if you all are in doubt about that, really sit down and do some soul searching. Really sit down and put yourself in the shoes of us. Because we've all experienced it at one time or another. I get racially profiled for my damn name. My name. I can't count how many times I've applied for jobs, and when I put my full name, I get no call. But when I shorten that name, I get a call. And then they find out what my real name is at a damn good interview. They find out what my real name is. It's a problem. Seriously? Really? Come on, man. Y'all have to stop trying to say that racism does not exist. For whatever reason, racism has become heightened ever since the inception of our African-American commander-in-chief. I'm not an Obama supporter. I'm black. Surprise. But that doesn't matter at this point, because this is about the fact that these racial tensions has risen ever since he took office. Every black person is not an Obama supporter, but that's neither here nor there. The main issue with this is the fact that it seems to be always explained away for some reason. That, African Americans, or black people, shall I say, they're thugs. Black women are welfare recipients, all of them. Black women just keep having children out of wedlock. All black men are thugs. All black men are lazy and shiftless. Now, mind you, there are a good number of us, okay, that feed into the stereotype. I think that that's what keeps everything going. But see, nobody wants to look at the professional black America. We all just look at it like, this is going on, that's going on, and it's all negative. Well, guess what? It's not all negative. It's not all negative. In this case of this young lady who lost her life, I stand for justice for Renisha McBride. I don't know, and I'm not privy to everything that happened in that case. But what I can say is that there's things around this case that are very, very similar to the young man that got killed by the police, and very similar to the Trayvon Martin case. Is it that they're not releasing his name or anything because, they're in fear that the Black Panther Party, the new Black Panther Party, are going to come find him and, off with his head or something? You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked, George Zimmerman is still living, still kicking. But there's this automatic notion that because we're black, we must have been doing something bad. This young lady was looking for help. Help. This was not a 70 or 80-year-old man either. Let me specify that. This was a man in his 50s that could often be seen mowing his lawn, per his neighbors. That's what they said, okay? So, seemed to be a pretty spry, I guess you could say middle-aged man or whatever. Okay, but he was not elderly. Okay, but 3 o'clock in the morning, I get that, you might have apprehension. But when you look out the window and you see a female asking for help, your first instinct is to grab your gun and accidentally shoot her. Really? No questions asked. I'ma shoot you, nigger. That's basically what you did. What is this nigger doing on my front porch? Because you cannot tell me, and I'm sorry, it is what it is, unless she was a dopehead, crackhead, white girl that was standing there itching and doing all this here, whatever. You would not have done that. You wouldn't have. I mean, come on. People don't want to see the truth. They don't want to know the truth, you know. And I know for all of you trolls out there that are so adamant, okay, about, you know, if niggas wouldn't do this, then they wouldn't do that. Let me tell you something. One thing about me, you can comment. You feel free to do that. I don't entertain BS, okay? I say what I have to say. The real is the real. If we're wrong, I'm going to say that we're wrong. In this situation, it's strange. It's strange because there's a lot surrounding this situation. And I want to add something. Am I the only one that heard the part when the story first came out, that heard about, you know, that she got shot in the head and the man tried to hide the body or something? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I promise you, I read that. I haven't seen anything surface about that since, so find that interesting. But I'm not the mainstream media type person. I try to dig through different, you know, sources or whatever to try to find what I can find, because oftentimes there is where you find the actual truth. It's just very disheartening that we as African Americans have to teach our kids, or I don't have any kids, but you know, that we have to teach our relatives or the kids in our community that it's better for you to be safe and secure yourself and not put yourself in a position to where a white person can harm you or this person can. It's really sad, because more often than not, that's the case. I live in New Orleans, so for me, you know, we live in a big old melting pot. And I'm not saying that down here, you know, we don't have racism or whatever. We do. But for the most part, we have a more accepting culture down here, because everybody here is kind of like, you have to live here and you have to understand being here to know what I'm talking about. But it's a little bit different. Now, do we have our share of murders? Hell yeah. Way too many. Way too many of our babies, literally babies, are being killed. But I think that when you look at the grand scheme of things, the overall aspect of everything, if you're really willing to be honest with yourself and honest about this nation, you can honestly say that there is a race issue. There are race baiters, such as Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Look, I do not subscribe to that train of thought. I really do not. It pisses me off. Everything is not about race. You know, it just really, really bugs me. Okay, that there, you know, every goddamn thing is not about race. But they look at it was like, you know, oh, this happened. Shut the hell up. You know, because everything is not about that. But I can say that when there is something, which there are a lot of things that are racially motivated, we have to stop and take stock of those things. It's about time for everybody to take an introspective look into their lives and into certain situations and realize that there is a problem in this nation. When we begin to realize that, and when we begin to address that in a positive manner, there can be change. But until then, there will be no change, simply because people are so stuck on it's not about this, it's not about that, when in all actuality it really, really is. It hurts. And see, that's the biggest issue. It hurts for us to look inside of ourselves to say that, you know, I feel this way about that, or I feel that way about this. I can sit here and tell you, I feel some kind of way when I go somewhere and there's a big group of white people, and I feel like, you know, I'm the only black person in there, and everybody's staring at me like I'm just the eyesore or something. It makes me feel some kind of way. Vice versa. If there's one white person in a whole sea of black people, I'm pretty sure it will make you feel some kind of way, because they're looking at you like you're the eyesore. But let's internalize that and let's think about it for a minute. Because when you think about it, it's like, wait a minute. I'm feeling this way because of this. Or they're thinking that way because of that. It's like you have to sit back and analyze everything. This world and this nation and things that goes on, nothing is cut and dry. Everything requires extreme thought. You know, you have to think 4, 5, 6 times ahead of things in order to really understand them. And I had to learn that, because I used to think that everything was just cut and dry. Whatever was on the surface, that's what it was. But that's not the case. Understand that this situation, this young lady was murdered. Okay? She was murdered. whatever they're doing to protect this man, it is unfair. It is unjust. Because the bottom line is, if that were a black man that murdered a white child, matter of fact, I'll even go a little bit further. If it was a black man that murdered another black, man, I take that back. Because that's not true. That's not true. Although they might hype up the black on black crime. You know? Oh, man, it's just so difficult to kind of maneuver through these waters sometimes. Because when you try to understand the thought process of somebody else, sometimes it brings you to a different level. You know, it brings you somewhere that you may not be willing to go. But sometimes you have to go there. You have to try to understand what's going on. You have to understand the way that some people are thinking and why they're thinking that way. People don't just say things just to be saying them. Very few people do. You know, even in jokes, there are underlying truth. Those are underlying feelings about how they really feel. So all I'm saying is that don't take this case lightly. Don't make a mockery out of it either. You know, I'm not for that either. Stick to the justice about it. Stick to the facts about it. And, you know, expose things for what they are. If there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. I'm not trying to say it's anything there, but I mean, from everything that I've seen and I've read thus far, it kind of speaks for itself. But I'm just saying, don't sweep this under the rug as, you know, niggas crying foul again. Here they go with the race again. Don't sweep it under the rug as that, because I don't think it's just that simple. There's an epidemic. And when I say it's open season on niggas, you can't deny that. And for anybody that may have a problem with me saying that, dude, go scratch your ass and get glad. Because it really doesn't bother me. I don't give power to the word. It is what it is. You know, I mean, now when I say niggers, you know, of course, you know that I'm speaking in a tone that white folks will speak. You know, it is what it is. Some people might say, oh, well, you're racist because you said, no, I'm speaking truth. I'm speaking truth. And see, that's where people want to find confrontation and condemn things that they are not willing to admit themselves, or they're not willing to try to understand. Take it how you want it. Comment, say whatever you want. I really don't care. You know, I don't entertain BS. I'm saying this and I'm speaking to the ones that are actually willing to listen. There is a problem in this nation, and a lot of it is racially motivated as far as being geared towards black people. You know, every time food stamps comes up, you know, you hear, yeah, all them niggas need to get off of food stamps, and niggers. You know, you hear that so often. And it's like, really? You know, don't y'all have anything else better to do with your time? You know, but I think that it's fun. I think that, you know, some people get off on it. You know, like the trolls, you know, how people making race comments or whatever, and half the time people making race comments against black people are actually black people. Really? But my final point is to say, just as I said a second ago, don't forget about this young lady. Don't let this fall by the wayside. Don't let it be swept under the rug. If you keep things in the forefront, then information will come out, justice will be served. Do not ever take it as we are just, you know, we're just going to leave it alone. We're just going to, you know, we're just going to take what they say to us and let that be that. But don't rally with violence. Don't do that. So, I'm going to say that's about it for right now until I come back, and